Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, a certain lawyer, a northern lawyer, in Nnamdi Kanu's team has come out to say that what Nnamdi Kanu is what the northerners need to prosper, to get the prosperity they want, to get that freedom, to get that what they want. That Nnamdi Kanu is someone like Nnamdi Kanu is the person that they want. But do you agree with Nnamdi Kanu, with the lawyer, and at the same time, even Nnamdi Kanu, even with Nnamdi Kanu bringing the lawyer to his team, do you think he's doing the right thing?
Well, let me tell you the truth. For the lawyer to come out, or for a lawyer from Gombe to come out and say that Nnamdi Kanu has taken him to another dimension where he can understand some legal things pertaining to how to liberate their people, from the oppression of a system that has not benefited them anything. You can see the way the man from Gombe was reacting, an Hausa lawyer for that matter, making that kind of statement, talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Or not only talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he volunteered to be part of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's team. And to the thing is that George Omotosho, James Omotosho was not amazed to see the lawyer introducing himself, that he's from so and so place, and that he has personal love for Nnamdi Kanu, and that he's ready to do anything for Nnamdi Kanu's liberation, even though there is a clear signal now that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released any moment from now. His appearance in court, I can see in that video, tells a lot of story of a man who was illegally attacked by a system, that's as corrupt as the Nigerian system. I wonder what will be going in the minds of people like Buhari at this point in time, even though the other aspect of Buhari's case was not actually mentioned, where it was disclosed that we need to carry out a DNA to find out, the real Buhari, whether the one we are having now is still Jubrim. That case is still pending, but to the surprise of many people, the Nigerian government never looked at that direction. And to the amazement of 85 million Igbos around the world, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has never faced trial for the past 10 years of his case. He has never been presented to the court for trial or whatever way they think about it. But now, in just a few days from now, we are seeing massive revelation coming from what James Omotosho was trying to put there. There's no lawyer. Nnamdi Kanu defense system, about 19 of them lawyers and about 5 or 3 sons, who are already involved, have not really engaged the court on the issue that has to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, apart from the interrogation that was carried out with one of the lawyers and the hooded DSS agent who said that he went to Godi to live to arrest Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he could not provide any evidence. The whole world was surprised, and you can see delegates from the United States of America, delegates from US, UK government. But the problem is that I don't know what actually why the UK government should send delegates at this point in time, considering the fact that they all ignored Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When Nnamdi Kanu came back from Kenya, even though at this point in time the Kenyan government is already saying that they are going to charge Nigerian government for illegal abduction of a man who visited their country, and they're going to take illegal action against Nigerian government. Well, we are just seeing this kind of thing. It's like the table is turning against the system that kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now, with countries and nations forming serious alliance and making sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, at the end of the day, gets justice. But the fear is that the eastern governors who have denied Mazi Nnamdi Kanu support for a very long time are already in an emergency meeting, trying to see what they're going to do, how they're going to manage the affairs of politics if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is finally being released. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu release will definitely dwarf, diminish, envelope anything that has to do with governors and political actors and non-state actors in the eastern part of the country. But the fact is this, like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said before, that is released under 24 hours, there will be peace and tranquility in the south and southeast region, because because he commands the required influence. But the fact is with the infiltration and agenda and killing that is being championed by Fulani government in the eastern part of the country, are we truly going to have peace in the eastern part of the country when Nnamdi Kanu is being released? I can tell you categorically clear that it is not what you think. What is happening now to Nnamdi Kanu's release has been ordered was as a result of massive international pressure on the Nigerian government and the judiciary to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is being released and face trial. Nnamdi Kanu is not bothered whether there's going to be a political solution, which he has rejected. He has also rejected any signature that will stop him from continuous agitation of Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu refused to sign. He stood his ground and remained focused. But now, destiny has smiled on Ohamadike One of Igbo land. And that destiny is going to bring about liberation of Africa. That destiny is going to bring about rising of the black man. That destiny is going to change the ingenuity and redefine the way the black man reason. Thank God for Nnamdi Kanu. Like we are seeing some Hausa saying that I wish we had this kind of person in the Hausa land. The Middle Belt are saying I wish we have somebody like Nnamdi Kanu in Middle Belt. The Yorubas, a lot of them are saying the same thing, because Nnamdi Kanu represents the Gen Z transformation that is expected both in the international level and in the African setting. Nnamdi Kanu has successfully rode himself to become the #1 Pan-Africanist all over the world. And I can tell you that Africanism is going to experience a turnaround this time around. Watching that video, you see how majestically he has engaged himself. You can see the humility, you can see the bravery, you can see, the power, of freedom, of knowledge, built in this very young man called an Igbo man. Very exceptional. And people are wondering, is this guy really an Igbo man or not? The Niger Delta people are celebrating him. Everybody is celebrating him. And the fact is, how are we going to manage the reception that is going to come with Nnamdi Kanu, with over 20 countries, signaling invitation for dialogue with Nnamdi Kanu and possibly, signing treaties with the Biafran government at the end of the day. But what is happening in Abuja now? Abuja is already shut down, and we are seeing DSS, and we are seeing police, we are seeing security agents everywhere. All of them is on the note of what Nnamdi Kanu is going to have today in his trial. Of course, all the cross-examination has been done, everything has been concluded, and we are expecting that Nnamdi Kanu should be released based on law, but not based on interest.
Okay, and for what we saw in the last proceeding in the court, we saw how Kanu Agabi and the Kanu Council was able to, drill the witness, the masked witness. And for what we can see now, I think it's sitting towards Nnamdi Kanu victory. But if Nnamdi Kanu becomes victorious on the 8th of May, do you think the federal government will allow him go?
That's the fear a lot of people are entertaining. Is the government going to appeal the judgment? Are they going to appeal the judgment on empty note? Are they going to appeal judgment based on lack of evidence?
But we've seen this before.
We've seen it before, up to the appeal court, where the appeal court granted Nnamdi Kanu bail and said that a government illegally thrives in criminality. And we don't expect that to happen. If it happens, but I can tell you that the Nnamdi Kanu you are seeing there, you understand, has taken Nigeria to the ground, to the gutters, has disgraced Nigeria both nationally and internationally. And I can tell you what we are going to experience. If the federal government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, appeals Nnamdi Kanu's bail and freedom and release at the end of the day, come Wednesday or Thursday or whatever on the 8th or whatever, if it is being released, then we know where we are going to place the identity of Nigeria finally. And that is the truth. Nigeria identity will place it where it belongs. But the fact now is that Nnamdi Kanu will be released. The problem is that the Southeast governors, all of them on the run. Everybody's running skater. I can tell you in the last few days, they have engaged themselves in over 10 emergency meetings, on how to handle Nnamdi Kanu's, reception, or once Nnamdi Kanu's released, what is going to be their fate politically. And another factor is this. As you are seeing the man there, he has seen a lot of people. He is not alone. The 85 million Biafrans all over the world are standing by him. And that is why we call him Ahmadike One of Africa.
Okay, just like Very Dark Man. On a live interview with TVC News, we saw Showore come and say that he doesn't know why Tinubu doesn't want to let go of Nnamdi Kanu. That Nnamdi Kanu is not supposed to be staying more than a day after Buhari left, office. Why do you think that Tinubu himself, we thought as a Southern, leader, we think as him come to the attending the president of Nigeria, we thought that he will come and do the needful by releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Why do you think that he's still holding Nnamdi Kanu?
It's a clear sign that Tinubu was part of the signatory agenda, to Islamize and Fulanize Nigeria, especially targeting the eastern region, which has been their red line from the beginning. Thank God for the consciousness that was awoken by Nnamdi Kanu 10 years ago, before it became a massive threat. So people are able to note the direction that these people are not bringing their cow for peace. They are not infiltrating the eastern region for business or transaction. They are infiltrating the eastern region for conquest, for killing, for whatever reason. And they know that is the red line. Forget they are using Fulani tailored politicians to plant them as governors in the eastern part of the country. We know very well, that the Fulanis planted these people. But I can tell you that the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu will bring internal liberation within the southeast region, as in politically and otherwise, and will signal to further endorsement and recognition of Biafra as a sovereign entity. But let me tell you, there's one thing I can tell you about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to continue from what Buhari stopped. But this time around, Tinubu is considering, the release of Nnamdi Kanu as an added advantage to his second term ambition. If not, I don't think he want to release Nnamdi Kanu politically or otherwise. But what we are seeing now, there is another dimension to where what we are seeing here. It is not ordinary. It is not coming from Nigerian government per se. It is coming as a result of a change that is being going on within the international political space. There is realignment, within the political world all over the world, and most of those alignments are geared towards human rights, anti-Christian killing, anti-Islamization and Fulanization agenda, and that is why it looks like this man is soft-pedaling Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And secondly, the issue that has to do with Macron, is also a factor in this issue, because they know that the release of Nnamdi Kanu is a red flag, it's a red signal to any Fulanization agenda that's already going on in Nigeria, especially in the eastern part of the country. So, and on that note, considering the threat that is coming from the north, Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to play a smart game now, and using Nnamdi Kanu as a factor to checkmate the excesses of the north at the end of the day. Nnamdi Kanu will not utter a word, but his freedom says signal that all will be well with the Biafrans at the end of the day.
Okay, yesterday we saw, a certain Biafran a commandant, a fighter for the Biafra freedom. His name is called Commander Gentle. He said Uzodinma as what? As killed his mother, killed his brother, kidnapped his twins, and at the same time, even kidnapped his wife. He said currently they've been kidnapped by Uzodinma. But he said this will not derail him from fighting for Biafran freedom. And the likes of the Southeast politicians have disappointed in Nnamdi Kanu by not supporting the Biafra agitation. So he's coming and say that this will not derail him. But why do you think that the Southeast governors in particular and the politicians are not in support of Nnamdi Kanu? Because as the last year, there was a meeting among the governors to meet Tinubu for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. But after then, Nnamdi Kanu brothers come out to say that these people, after the meeting, they didn't come out to fulfill what they said in the meeting. Why do you think they're against Nnamdi?
They always wanted Nnamdi Kanu to remain in custody. Yeah. That is the game. That's the word from the understanding. But what we are seeing now is coming from the congressmen. It's coming from the United States government. The pressure that is seen today, because there was a plan and a report that there might be a marine invasion, as reported. That will invade Nigeria and take away Nnamdi Kanu, by force. So, and they don't want to see that happen because it will signal quick recognition of Biafra. So they are buying into the pressure that is coming from the United States of America, not the Eastern governors. We don't have anything to do with Eastern governors. You understand? So that pressure coming from outside is what is creating the atmosphere for trial for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that is well understood clearly. But as it stands now, Biafra has become not negotiable. Nobody can negotiate Biafra now again because it has gone beyond that. What the world is looking at, and just like what the Cameroon judge said, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has successfully put Biafra at the global level, and there's no court in the world has the capacity to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You can see all these things they are doing in the court are just cosmetic, trying to see how they are going to frustrate the man to succumb and throw away. But Nnamdi Kanu surprised many of them, including the governors. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is rushing to Anambra State to see how he's going to amend faces at the end of the day. Beg. Hope Uzodinma is already undergoing a pastoral course as I'm talking to you now. He's going to church now, praying for forgiveness and all that. So I can tell you that the threat already, they understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released. It's already causing panic among the political class in the eastern part of the country now. And that's the fact. I can tell you in honest truth.
Okay, and lastly, we saw Ngozi Orabueze in her last press conference she had. She said it's our time what the UN looking into in Nnamdi Kanu case, that what Nigeria and Bola Tinubu should be expelled from the UN, that they should be sacked from the UN fund for holding Nnamdi Kanu in captive, and the same thing with Samuel Ekpa. What's your take as regards?
Yes, it has been a concluded fact. When the report came, it was grabbed by Dr. Orabueze with both hands, and that's what we are looking at. Already, he has received the signal in Aso Rock. There's no second time for him, whether he like it or not, whether he released Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or not. UN have concluded that. The powers that are greater than him has intervened, and you can see everybody is on a shaky ground now concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But what I'm trying to get at this point is that it's not about ego, it's not about anything, it's not about hatred. The Igbo does not hate anybody. But what we are saying at this point in time that according to United Nations law, see, look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Watch his steps, watch the video. He has been wearing one cloth for over 5 years now. One cloth.